Hi, this is Mark Bautis from Bautis Financial. We're at the start of the year, and a lot of people focus on their finances and things that they can do to improve their finances, but they're not sure what to look at specifically or where to start. So I wanted to go over this quick checklist to give some people some ideas of things to think about, and I'll go over a couple items on there. So if we look here and you see on the personal issues section, one thing is, do you need to assess your progress made towards any goals last year? So, it's one thing to kind of want to do this with your finances or do that with your finances, but you really should have a target of what you're trying to get to. And then knowing where you are on that, on that line. Are you on track? Are you off track? Did something change last year? Did you not save to this goal? Or did the return that your investments got where it wasn't where you needed it to be, and you need to make some adjustments? So whatever your goal is, you should really have some transparency into whether you're on track to achieve it or not. The next thing is, are there any life events that either you just experienced or maybe you anticipate experiencing? And a life event could be anything from moving, retiring, starting a family, going through a divorce, an illness, a death, a job change. And really the thinking behind that is usually a life event brings about some kind of need to make a decision with your finances. And a lot of times what people do is they'll just wait, and then they make no decision and they don't do anything. Where as if they looked at it, with as much time as possible ahead of it to try and get ahead of that decision or that life event, they'll have all the information that they need to make the right decision with that. Next one in the cash flow section. Do you have a spending plan, or what's changed with your income or your expenses, or what do you see changing? Financial planning, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. You have money coming in and you want to make sure that money is going to the right place. And too often what we do is just spend our money on whatever we need to spend it, and then maybe sit the savings somewhere. And a lot of times it makes sense to just be a little more proactive, put a little more structure around what you're trying to do. And that way, going back to that first one of are your goals on track, or are you making progress to what you're trying to get to? That makes it a little bit easier. Spending plan, cash flow, it's not about I shouldn't spend $5 here or $100 there. It's really making sure you're spending on things that are spending towards or on things that are important to you, and not spending or cutting back on things that aren't important to you. In January, now we can figure out if you are subject to required minimum distributions or RMDs. We now have the information we need to be able to calculate what your RMD is for the year. And there's different ways to go about taking it, but you typically have until December 31st to take that RMD. So now that we're in January, you can figure out what you need to take. Now, the next one is on your investments. It always makes sense to look at the risk that's in there. And again, going back into transparency or visibility, you want to know your current portfolio, your current investments. How much risk are you taking? What would happen if we see another, bad market turn for whatever reason? How would your portfolio be impacted by that? And you really want to look at portfolio risk in three components. How much risk is currently there? How much risk should you have so that you hit your goals, whether it's not running out of money or being able to put have enough money to put your kids through college? And then the third risk correlation that we want is how much risk are you comfortable with? And what that means is how much risk are you okay with in the portfolio that if a negative market event happens, you don't make some kind of rash emotional decision with your portfolio that probably isn't the right one to make at that time. So really having the visibility and transparency into the risk across your portfolio is important. Next one is, we've now in January, we've gone through the full 2021. How have your investments done? I come across a lot of people that just aren't sure, how am I doing? Are you comparing it to a benchmark? What went well? What didn't go well? Are you looking at in 2022 of what we could see down the road and how, your investments could be impacted by that? These are just a few of the things. There's other asset and debt things to consider. There's also tax, insurance, legal things to go through as well. And like I said, this is just, for people wanting to improve, not sure where to start. Here are some ideas of at least to get the ball rolling, or at least to have some structure around putting a financial improvement plan together. You can get you can download this checklist from the link below, or if you go to our website, bautisfinancial.com, you can get it there as well. And if you have any questions about how this specifically applies to you, I'd be happy to talk, and you can also schedule a free consultation from our website.